What I want to talk about is a topic that is kind of actually a hard topic to talk about. But it's also one I wish I would have known about. I wish someone would have said. I just wish someone would have brought this to my attention. I literally believe it would have kept me off antidepressant medication, and I truly believe that it would have it literally would have helped me in so many areas of my life, and that is this topic of narcissism. Now, here's the thing. I think we all have an element of narcissism, and I don't think all narcissism is wrong. In fact, I think probably if you look at most of your top level performing athletes and CEOs and CFOs and, you know, CIOs and all of the upper level management, I think most people you have to have an element, I think, of narcissism just in your personality to succeed on any great level. So I don't think that narcissistic characteristics are necessarily something that is bad or wrong. I just think it's kind of almost to the level in which someone is narcissistic. And I have several people in my life that are 100% full-blown narcissists. And let me just kind of give you what my characteristics are of a narcissist, and why, if I would have known these and I would have recognized these signs, I'm telling you right now, I would not ever have gone on medication. Because I think one of the reasons that I went on an antidepressant all those years ago was because I literally thought there was something wrong with me. And that's the only thing about a narcissist and having narcissists in your lives, is they will literally make you feel like you're crazy. And I'll give you an example of that right now. Have you ever had a situation, an interpersonal communication thing, where you're trying to communicate with someone and you've been the one faulted, like you've been the one hurt, and you're talking to them and you're trying to have resolution, and they will end up turning the situation around so that it's your fault or that you look crazy. So if you're having a discussion with them and all of a sudden it's like you're talking about, you know, how your feelings have been hurt by them, and then they're not getting it, and they'll turn around and say something like it's completely left field about what you're doing, and then it's like frustrating talking to a narcissist, because as you're talking to them, they're now throwing a totally, I think they call it gaslighting, I'm not sure, but they'll totally bring like another topic into the situation, and you're just like trying to deal with the other topic, and they're blowing another topic in, and pretty soon, like in a couple minutes, you're just getting so frustrated because you're just kind of like your head spinning, you're not even sure like what they're talking about, and now they're talking about something totally different, and then they bring something else up, and then before you know it, you're like almost like, even me talking about it, I feel like I'm getting elevated, and your heart rate gets up and your breath gets shallow, and then pretty soon you're finding yourself like shouting like, no, that's not what I said, what I meant is this. Do you know what I mean? You can be gosh, I'm getting excited even talking about it. But you totally can get like where your body and everything is like literally you feel like you're like going crazy. And then they'll say, right as you're starting to like go crazy and scream, they'll say to you, why are you so upset? And you're like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? It's like the 5 things you just said before that. So what narcissists are really, really good at is that it's like they don't look at the 5 minutes before you exploded. They just look at your explosion, and then they say, look at the way you're talking to me. How can you do this to me? How can you be so mean to me? How can you abandon me? How can you do this? And you're just like, you just honestly want to go, what the fuck? You know what I mean? You're just like, what? Like, the whole entire situation could have been handled if they would have accepted responsibility for why you went to them in the first place to talk to them, or why you were sad. A narcissist will absolutely never apologize. They will never say they're sorry. They will never, ever say there's something wrong with themselves. They will always point the blame to you. They will always say it's something you did wrong. They will always say, you know, it's because of this, this, and this. They'll bring up your past. They'll literally disarm you by saying, well, I don't even know why I love you anymore. Look at the way you've treated me. And you're just like, what? We're not even talking about that. So how you know you are in a relationship with a narcissist or communicating with, this could be a parent, a friend, a business person. You guys, I'm actually dropping off a little eBay package here, so just give me a little grace while I just pop this off here. Let me just take my seatbelt off. And FYI, you guys, these super shades are from the .99 store. 99 cents. Aren't they cute? They're really cute. Okay. So, narcissists will never, ever, ever apologize. They would rather, seriously, they would rather die than apologize. And they're great enrollers of other people in your drama. So, do you have someone that if something goes wrong with you, you know they've already talked to 5 people about you? They've already berated you to 5 other people. So it's like they do not keep their mouths shut. They do not know how to keep a situation private. They do not know how they don't know how to keep your private situation just between the two of you. They love enrolling, and I think the term is, I just learned this the other day, triangulation, where they will put someone else, they'll enroll other people. First of all, they'll talk bad about you to other people, so they kind of enroll those other people. And then what they do is, if you're say you're that other person, right, and you're not agreeing with what the narcissist is saying, you're not agreeing with the triangulation or whatever, then they'll bag you, and then they'll do the same thing to you, to someone else, and they'll just keep repeating this. And the thing of it is, it takes so much energy to be around a narcissist. I mean, it's like, it literally is mind, body, and spirit draining. I find myself, when I'm around the narcissist in my life, I like always have to, I'm always having to breathe, because I literally, it's like the stress around them is so great I can't even breathe. And tools that I have found to just survive a narcissist is that just changing the subject. You've got to become a master at changing the subject and changing your energy. Because if you have these people in your life and you want to, for me, I'm a person that wants to love everyone. Like, I really want to choose to be in that space of love. If you're a narcissist, you're still welcome to be in my life. I will just set stronger boundaries around you, and I'll protect my relationship, my husband and I. Like, it's just very important that as a team, your closest people to you, like your husband, you know, your loved one, whatever, that you guys are on the same team and you're fully aware of what's going on around you. Because otherwise, they will get into your relationship and they can dismantle your relationship, and they'll do it. Sometimes I don't, it's weird. I know I've read a lot of things where they say narcissists know exactly what they're doing. I don't think, in my case, some of my narcissists are even aware of what they're doing. The other thing is they're completely emotionally detached. In fact, they get off on being emotionally detached, and this is what I mean. They're like, I'm not gonna do, they don't want to be seen in the world as soft. They don't want to be seen in the world as vulnerable. They don't want to be seen in the world as putting someone else in front of them. They want to be always in charge. They want to be in control. They want to drive aggressively. When they're driving, they want everybody else to be wrong and for them to be right. They'll call everybody an asshole. They'll say everybody's driving wrong but me. there's never again any acceptance of, hey, maybe that person's, you know, I understand once in a while, but I'm saying every single time you drive with that person. And they're also telling you what's wrong with the other drivers. You're just like driving with them, but they'll say, see that person over there, this, that. They'll pick everybody else in the road as all these other people have these problems with driving. They'll also, when they love the news, they love drama, they love talking about how the world is ending and how they're the only ones that know how the world should be run better, and if only the world was run by, and then they have they will have their specific religion, ethnicity, body types, and they'll just go, if they whatever they adhere to, if other things don't adhere to that, then there's something wrong with them. And it's so hard being around that, because I'm just a person that I have my spiritual, religious, political, I have my own views, and I welcome other people in my life to have opposing views. In fact, I think that's healthy, because I think you can have an interchange of different people. I'm not threatened by someone else, you know, having a different opposing viewpoint, because I'm really comfortable in my viewpoint and who I am, and I don't try to hurt people with my viewpoint. Like, for example, I'm a very strong Christian, all y'all know that, but you know what, I have agnostic, atheist, I have Muslim, I have Buddhist, I have I'm sorry, I'm just trying to like turn. I have just various different people of all different walks and religions in my life. And again, I like it that way. A narcissist also is someone that if you go out to eat, they're very rude to wait staff. They believe, again, their way is the highway. They believe that the way the person is cooking is not the way they do it. In fact, they'll go and speak to the cook and tell them, how can you cook this way? They'll actually walk back into a kitchen and correct someone's cooking, or they'll tell the wait staff, you know, there's food here, there's a piece of hair here. They're very, very, very demanding people on wait staff. When they speak to operators on the phone, or anytime they're having to kind of deal with personal service or whatever, they will be extremely rude, extremely demanding. They will always go, well, I need to speak to your manager, or, I mean, they're just very, very, very short people. Now, here's the thing. Here again is some aspect. Sorry about that. I was going over a little bit on that. That I just don't think it's necessarily wrong that we have these. I think that we, as women, it's good if there is something that's bothering. I think it's very good to set boundaries. But I do not condone, and nor will I ever condone having, you know, just being rude to people. I just absolutely have zero clearance for that. I don't think that is necessary at all. And as far as, like, obviously, yeah, if you get food that's disgusting, you know, you do need to say something. But it's just like, you know, you go out to eat, it's like, you know, just try to be kind and respectful to people. Anyway, but it's always, what they do is they set the mood of the table. So if you're out eating with them, if you're late, you know, say you got caught in traffic, they will literally not stop talking about you being late for like 5 minutes into the meal. If, you know, if you oppose, again, anything that's in their belief system that's different, they will, at the table, berate you for how wrong you are, and you should only be doing it the way they do it. They will find any insecurity that you have. For example, like, say when you were younger, you tweezed your eyebrows and you don't have any more eyebrows. They will literally not stop talking to you about your eyebrows. Like, oh my God, if you wouldn't have plucked them when you were so young, they would be beautiful now. Or they'll talk about your weight, and they'll say, you know, if only you could look like, you know, XYZ, like my first wife and first girlfriend, or whatever it is. Or, you know, a lot of them have huge insecurities about, again, anyone who's different. So if say someone's anorexic and they see them walking on the beach or whatever, all they'll do is talk about, oh my God, look at her, she's anorexic. Or they may even, when they see them, say, why are you anorexic? And I'm like, oh, like, I'm just like, I cannot, it's like, I can't even fathom that, you know what I mean? So, you know, at the same time, again, I'll say some things that I respect about narcissists. I respect the fact that when they do believe something, they really don't give you know what, if you don't agree with them. And there's something kind of admirable about that. They're kind of like so removed. But again, at the same time, they just completely lack empathy. There is no empathy gene in them whatsoever. There's, on a cellular level, they don't even understand what it is. And when I've researched it, they've said that when they're younger, that they just weren't taught that. And from what I've researched, that it's like something when you're young, when you're little, you're taught empathy. I personally think if you're raised by a narcissist, I think one of the reasons why you become so caring and so loving in this world is just kind of like an antithesis of that. Maybe you weren't taught empathy because all around you was a lack of empathy. So I think you can also recognize narcissism and break free from narcissism, because when you were growing up and seeing it, it was something that was, you know, really affected you. But anyway, so how can we improve ourselves if we find ourselves, within ourselves characteristics of being narcissistic? I think one of the things, the first things is, you know, are you empathetic? Do you try to see the exact same argument from a different perspective? My husband and I were just getting back from a trip, and we're both really stressed out. We're both really tired, and there's a lot of stuff going on in his family's life right now that's really having a significant impact on him. And I have stuff going on in my family that has having a significant impact. So both psychologically, we're both, you know, we have great love for our family, but we're also, because of that, really drained and really stressed out about it. And we got into a huge argument. And one of the really cool things that happened, though, from the argument was, and to me, I equate this completely to God and to my faith, was like God immediately convicted me and said, try to see things from his perspective and maybe what his heart is going through right now. And right now he needs you. And the old me would have never done that. I would have just stuck to my argument and stuck to my ego, and I would have been, but it's like, now that I'm studying narcissism and narcissists, what they don't do is they will not apologize, and they will not soften. They won't soften their demeanor, their decor. They're like always like, no, you did this, you treated me this, you did this, and it's like they never ever can soften. It's like they just can't. They don't even have the capacity to do it. And because I've been around that, and recently I'm just kind of studying it, it's just made me realize, like, when I am arguing with my husband, to really try to see things from his perspective. And this is what I did. I went into his room and I sat down and I said, I just want you to know that everything I said, you know, I really did. I did mean what I said, but I want you to know that I apologize if in any way that hurts you, and if in any way, like, let's talk about this, because, you know, I want you to know that I can see things from your perspective, and I can see where that would have been kind of hard to hear. You know what I mean? And it just immediately softened him. I mean, immediately he softened. And then he said, you know, I want you to know I can see things from your perspective, and I'm sorry. I'm just feeling really overwhelmed right now. And it totally led to this bond where it's like, I don't think my husband and I can get any closer, and then we get closer after an argument. So one of the things you might want to just see is, like, hey, when you argue with your spouse, your loved one, your friend, or whatever, is there an ability that you become closer after an argument? Do you learn from your partner or your friend or whatever? And not only that, do you learn and never repeat that behavior? Because what a narcissist will do is they will, to get you kind of back, they'll pretend, oh, I'm going to go to counseling, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do this, and they'll throw themselves into something. And then when they can't manipulate those counselors or that situation, then they'll drop it and they won't go back. And they'll go right back to who they were being before. And so, like I started this vlog out talking about, gosh, I wish I would have known all this stuff. The thing of it is, I literally thought it was my problem. I thought that there was something wrong with me, that I couldn't get through to these people, that I just was like, I literally felt like I was going to explode. And what I learned now, wow, what I learned is that I have some narcissists in my life. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just recognizing them for who they are, and knowing that if I'm going to go into a conversation with them, or I'm going to spend any time with them, to almost put like protection of like white light around me, and just know everything that they say or do to try to manipulate me emotionally that's their thing. And so what I do and what I'm going to be doing is just like, when they come up with all this drama, because they will always have tons of drama in their life, is just not attached to it. Because that's the other thing, they love people to attach to their drama. In fact, that feeds them. And if you don't attach to their drama, it's like, it's almost like, what do you mean? Like, they'll even turn that around on you and be like, but I'm just saying this. What's wrong with me just saying this? And it's like, it's really annoying to them if you don't enroll in their drama. And it's so funny. But once you start seeing these signs, and you literally, it's almost like tick, 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 tick. And I don't want to say it's funny, but you can almost like go, oh my gosh, they are classic textbook narcissists. In fact, I think to myself, has no one ever told them this? I don't believe in my situation. I don't believe anybody, number one, has told them. And number two, I don't think, yeah, they're very, like, they intimidate everybody. They intimidate their entire family. No one feels like they could go talk to them. Nobody. So if you are like myself, like kind of a healthy state of mind going to talk to them, they'll call you the devil. Like, you will literally be the person. And then again, they'll try to get the entire family to ostracize you, because they can't be outed. And if anyone were to possibly believe you, then they would have to deal with their shit, and they're not going to do that. So anyway, you guys, I know it's kind of a lot of information, but for me, just go on YouTube. There's some amazing videos on narcissism in relationships. For me, I would not choose a narcissist in a husband-wife situation. I am so glad my husband is not a narcissist. But unfortunately, both he and I have narcissists in our lives that we are going to have to work with for the rest of our lives. And again, the other thing too is, again, I think I always go back to therapy, and when my therapist used to say, hurt people. And one of the things that was really enlightening for me in that is that even if you have narcissists in your life, which I do, you almost want to realize that something must have happened to them when they were so young that was so damaging that they never got that empath gene. They never got that empathetic awareness. They just don't have it. And for you to kind of try to teach them or help them, good luck. You're going to end up getting hurt. I've just found every single time I have tried to reach out and to extend love and help to the narcissist in my life, it has literally come back and bit me in the ass. So what I do, I just try to breathe. Like, even talking about this, I can feel my breath getting shallow. But just try to breathe through it as best as you can. Set up situations and environments that you can kind of get yourself out of. And you know, how do you get along with a narcissist? Just try to like appease, you know, just try to appease them. For me, it's just not even getting entangled, but it's so difficult not to get entangled. They're masters of entanglement. You could be watching the news with them and they can trigger you on something on the news, which you totally diametrically oppose. And then they're off to the races, because then they'll just literally go on and on and on and on about how wrong you are and how bad you are and how it's, you know, it's not based in, again, their parameters, how they see the world. It could be religious, it could be, you know, spiritual, it could be nutritionally, it could be anything that they believe that's different from you. And it's just really, really hard, because what happens is you kind of find yourself like going, you know, wow, this was my belief system before I had this conversation, but now you just think they're masters of confusion. So just stay strong. Make sure you have someone that you can like tag, like high five, where they can get you out of that situation. Number one. Number two, that they can back you up and kind of remind you of who you are. For me, it's my husband. Like, cause sometimes I'll like literally walk away from a conversation with the narcissist in my life, and I'll just be like, what just happened? Like, how could they have twisted what I just said? And your cheerleader or your, you know, your non-narcissist love in your life, they'll be able to just kind of like settle you down and say, you know what, I see how you were saying things, or just don't worry about it. My husband's always saying, you're never going to change her. You're never going to change her. You're never going to change her. And it's like, it's so true. But for an empath like me, I'm always living in that space of hope that that person's going to change. So I don't like to believe that they'll never change. I think an old dog can learn new tricks, but I have to say, in my situation, that my narcissists are never going to change. They're never, ever, ever going to change. Now, here's the thing. When narcissists choose to love you, if you're loved by a narcissist, you're never, ever going to feel like, if they really love you, it's like an overpowering love. Like, they're almost obsessed by you and what it is that you do. And no one else can like touch you, talk about you, or whatever, which again makes it sometimes a little painful also. But again, so there are some great qualities and characteristics about narcissists. They're very high achieving people. They're really gregarious. They're usually the center of the party, the center of attention. They're very good in politics and just swaying people to kind of who they are and what their ways are. But again, is the person empathic? Do they apologize when they're wrong? Are they sincere when they apologize? Are they quick to judge, or are they non-judgmental? Are they open to what you have to say? Do they want to change you? Are they always trying to tell you, well, if you could do this, it would be better, etc., etc.? So anyway, you guys, those are just some really quick points. I'll be doing a couple more videos on this because I think it can help a lot of us. But anyway, I love you guys so much. Remember to stand in your light, to stand in your truth, and above all else, be a warrior. I love you.